blank journal can't write itself. It can't move itself across a house. It can't hide behind boxes for years, then appear exactly when it's needed. So how do you explain a journal that vanished for 15 years and came back the week my 7-year-old daughter started writing for the very first time? My granddad spent the last 2 years of his life in a nursing home. Bad dementia, the kind that takes someone you love and slowly, quietly erases them in front of you. Most Sundays when I visited, he didn't know me. Sometimes he called me by his sister's name. Sometimes he just stared at the window for an hour, looking at something only he could see. I was 17, studying maths and chemistry. Not exactly the imaginative type. I didn't believe in signs or fate or anything that couldn't be proven with a formula. That's important. Remember that. About 2 weeks before he died, I went to see him, and that day, something was different. He was lucid, clear-eyed, present in a way he hadn't been in months. He reached under his bed and pulled out a small, brown leather journal. Lined pages, completely empty. He pressed it into my hands and said one sentence I would never forget. For the one who writes when she's ready. I laughed, gently, because it made no sense. I told him, "Granddad, I don't write anything." He just shook his head, slowly, and said it again. For the one who writes when she's ready. He wouldn't let me hand it back. 2 weeks later, he was gone. I didn't think much of the journal after that. Grief does strange things to memory. You hold on to objects without questioning why. It went into my revision box for my exams, then into a plastic crate when I left for university. Over the years, I moved 4 times. I got married. We renovated our home twice. Boxes were packed, unpacked, sorted, donated. And somewhere in all of that, the journal disappeared. Not lost in a dramatic way, just quietly absent. The kind of object that fades out of your life without a goodbye. 15 years passed. I stopped thinking about it completely. Then, about a month ago, something strange started happening with my daughter. She's 7. She has never been a big reader, never particularly drawn to stories or words. But suddenly, she started writing. First, on the back of old school letters. Then on receipts pulled from the kitchen drawer. Then I caught her copying lines from a book into the margins of my work notebook, careful, focused, like she was practicing something important. It felt sudden, almost like a switch had been flipped inside her. So that Saturday, I told my husband I was going to pop into W.H. Smith and buy her a proper journal of her own. Something nice. Something just for her. I came home with the bag, set it down in the hallway, and went upstairs to hang up my coat. And there, on the shelf in our bedroom wardrobe, right next to my husband's jumpers, was a small brown leather journal. Lined, completely blank, except for one page. The front page, where my granddad had written his words all those years ago. For a moment, I couldn't move. I asked my husband where it came from. He said our cleaner had found it a few days earlier, somewhere in the spare room. She didn't remember exactly where, just that it was on the floor, behind some boxes, and she assumed it was something we kept, so she placed it with our clothes. Behind some boxes. For 15 years. In a house we hadn't lived in for most of that time. Through 4 moves. Through 2 renovations. Somehow, it had survived all of it, unnoticed, untouched, waiting. And it reappeared in the exact same week my daughter began writing for the first time in her life. I haven't shown it to her yet. It's sitting in a drawer in my desk right now, as I tell you this. There's one more detail I haven't mentioned. My granddad received his very first journal from his own grandfather when he was 7 years old. The same age my daughter is now. I know how this sounds. I was the practical one, the maths and chemistry student who didn't believe in things like this. But somehow, I think that journal was never meant for me. I think it was always for her. So I'll ask you the same question I keep asking myself. Was this just a strange coincidence, a cleaner, a forgotten drawer, a curious child? Or did my granddad somehow know, decades ago, that this journal would find its way to the one who was finally ready to write in it? Tell me what you think in the comments below.